guys, welcome to today's video. Today I have a new foundation from the brand Huda Beauty that we're going to be checking out. It's their new stick foundation, the Faux Filter something or other foundation. So it's kind of an interesting product. We're going to check out a couple different techniques for applying the foundation, and then of course we are going to do a full day wear test. I can't remember exactly how long wearing this claimed to be. I'll have to look at that because I can't really remember. I want to say it was like 10 hours or something like that, which frankly, I will likely have this on for longer than 10 hours today. So, you know, we'll get to see how it does. I've never tried any Huda Beauty complexion products, mostly because one, they're kind of pricey, and two, I've heard very mixed reviews about them. I've heard people say that it breaks them out. I've heard people say that they're like overly fragranced. I've heard a lot of different things, but I've also heard that they work pretty well. So if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel before you go. It's free, it's easy, and for an unlimited time offer, you can ring the bell and be notified of any of my upcoming videos or uploads. Be notified when I upload. That's what it is. Okay, anyways, let's commence with the foundation review. Here we go. So here's the thing. I don't really like stick foundations. I think I like the idea of stick foundations. Like, I want to like stick foundations, but I have yet to find a stick foundation that I like better than some of my favorite liquid foundations. So I'm not sure why I keep coming back to stick foundations, but here we are with the new Huda Beauty Faux Filter Skin Finish Buildable Coverage Foundation Stick. It says it's a natural finish with buildable coverage and it's waterproof. Now, the instructions are kind of interesting. So it says for light to medium coverage, apply to face and buff out with your favorite sponge or brush. Repeat to build coverage as necessary. But then it says for full coverage, swipe foundation directly on a dense, flat brush and apply to the face. I think I want to try doing both of those things. Like, I want to try both methods. So I think first I'm going to take it and directly apply it to half my face, blend it out with the brush and see how that goes. And then the other half I'm gonna put it on the brush and see how that goes. So right off the bat, I'm already pretty impressed with this packaging. It's actually quite nice. Oh, this is nice too. This, even just the little like twisty thing, like, it's the small things, you guys. It's the small things. Like, let me show you. Okay, this is a stick foundation from the brand Haley's. No, it's not my brand, although it probably ought to be, right? Because all this brand makes is foundations. Like, literally, this brand Haley's has like 6 different types of foundations. But anyways, this is their stick foundation, and you can roll it up, or twist it up rather, as you can see. But then when it's time to come back down, so you have to do this number. No, thank you. So this is actually quite nice. Huda products are so expensive, so that's at least something, that this packaging is actually quite nice for a stick foundation. Anyways, so I got the shade Shortbread 200B, which should be like light with pink undertones, I think, which should match me. Looks like it ought to, maybe. Okay, but I'm going to first apply to half my face and see how it goes. Very smooth. Let's start there. Okay, so right off the bat, very light coverage. Very, very light. It blended out to be very sheer, but it says customizable, buildable coverage, so we'll go in with another round or two, because your girl likes coverage, guys. It's very easy to apply. It's not like it skips or anything, so that's good. Still pretty sheer. I'm probably gonna build it up some more on this side, but I kind of want to first see how it goes if I take my brush directly to the stick, like it said in the directions. That's what it said, right? Swipe foundation directly on a dense, flat brush. Okay, we'll give it a shot. By the way, this foundation doesn't really have a smell, which is good because I've heard such mixed reviews about their liquid foundation and their setting powder. I've heard that those are both like heavily scented products. So that's been an issue for folks. All right, so I'm just this is kind of tiring though to do it like this. It's kind of tiring. I think maybe that's part of why I don't really like stick foundations, is I just don't like using a brush to apply my foundation most of the time, you know? Okay, very interesting. So that it actually does give you more coverage when you apply it to the brush that way. So since I'm never satisfied with how foundation looks after being applied with just a brush, I took my sponge and went back over everything and buffed out that last layer of foundation with my sponge. And my sponge buffed it out just fine, and it didn't really pick up too terribly much of the product. But that's part of the appeal of the sponge, right? Is it kind of presses what needs to go into the skin, and then sort of takes away any excess. At least that's what I think about a beauty sponge's purpose in the world. So it's a good medium, maybe leaning full coverage, actually. I mean, I built it up a lot, and I did that on purpose too. I'd say I prefer to just apply it to my face and then honestly probably just blend it out with my sponge, really. And maybe that's part of why I don't like stick foundations quite as much, is because I don't really like how you have to apply stick foundations. But this isn't bad so far. It is a good natural finish. It's not like overly dewy, but it's certainly not matte. Good things so far. Let me go ahead and finish up. So here we are with everything else on. So it's only been on like about an hour probably at this point. So not a whole lot to report just yet. Other than, I will say, before I powdered, like as I was doing my blush and everything, kind of looking at my skin, it did look like there was, I don't want to say it looked like there was a lot of product on my skin. It just was very apparent that there was product on my skin, if that makes sense. So, and it's probably because I layered it. I mean, that's what happens when you layer makeup the way that I did. But I wasn't crazy about the way that it looked until after I set it. Then it looks now it looks a lot better, a lot smoother on the skin. So I don't know if that means anything. I guess we'll find out. And probably if I hadn't like layered it quite as much as I did, then that wouldn't be an issue. You know what I mean? So on that note, I will be back in a few hours and we will see how this foundation holds up. Looks good where it's at right now. So I'll be back in a little bit. You guys, I totally missed the end of daylight, but Scooter wanted to say hello. He is all tucked in for the night. Got his blankie on because it's gonna be cold. I'll put it on myself. Oh, this is awkward. But I don't know what this is gonna end up looking like because I've got my phone turned around with the flashlight on, shining right into my eye. It's about 7 o'clock right now and I have not had a chance to check the foundation. So I will be home and ready to take this off in a couple of hours. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, bye. Well, color me impressed. It still looks really good. All of my makeup still looks really good, to be honest, obviously, except my lips. Because I ate. But everything else, like the foundation, because that is what we're here to discuss, looks really, really good. So I do want to say that right after I stopped recording earlier when I had initially put it on, I went ahead and powdered a little bit extra with, oh, where'd it go? 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 So what I powdered with initially was my Kiko Milano Tuscan Sunshine powder. I love this powder, but I love it particularly for like a matte foundation because the powder itself is not very mattifying. I always struggle to figure out how to describe this powder, but it's just really nice and light and gives a very soft kind of set to the foundation. So I had a feeling that this might not be enough to set that natural finish of the stick foundation. So I kind of felt like my face looked a little bit shiny right after I stopped recording this morning. So I went back in with a little bit of this Essence Huda Beauty Fixing Compact Powder. It's just a little pressed powder with a pot leaf on it. I don't know what the significance of it being related to marijuana is, but it's a nice little pressed powder, and it's also not super mattifying, but definitely kind of gets things locked in a little bit more than like my Tuscan Sunshine powder. So, but I haven't touched up since, and it's been probably, I would have put this on around 10 this morning, and now it is 9 o'clock. So it's been about 11 hours that this has been on. So okay, Huda, I like it. I think it's some good stuff. I think that it is, whoops, why did I do that? I think it is a creamy enough formula that I wouldn't really need to use a brush. I think I would probably be comfortable enough just using my sponge. So like just applying it straight to my face and then blending it out with my sponge. So neat. I think I will certainly like this through the winter, when my skin is a little bit more on the dry side. Weather was pretty mild today, so it didn't really have a whole lot to go up against. The packaging's really nice. It's not heavily scented, as I've heard is a problem for some of their other products. $39 for a foundation. I mean, that's pretty much like $40 is as much as I'll pay for a foundation that I really, really like, or a foundation that I really want to try. Like, that's kind of my highest price point. If I'm gonna pay any more than that for a foundation, it has to be something like really spectacular. So it's definitely on the higher end of things, but it's, you know, it's not her new palette that's coming out. Have you seen this new palette that she's got coming out? I'm doing another anti-haul soon, and I'm gonna talk about that palette, but it's a $67 palette for 18 shadows, I think. What? I'm just like, okay, Huda, I didn't realize that we were at like Hourglass, Charlotte Tilbury, NARS prices now, but okay. But as far as this little stick foundation goes, I'm excited to start using it more. I will also be interested to see if this has any kind of negative effects on my skin, like if it clogs my pores or breaks me out at all. That is something that I've heard as a criticism for some of their other products, like their other foundation. So I'll be very interested to see how this one does wearing it over, you know, a period of time. And to describe it as being like, you know, the light to full buildable coverage, I would say that's pretty accurate. It built pretty well. I think it looked a little funny, like I put a bunch of layers on this morning, and I felt like it looked a little funny before I set it with powder, but I think it looks, I mean, it looks really good now, I think. Like I'm looking at in my mirror, my forehead doesn't even feel too oily. And I mean, this powder, it's not like a super mattifying powder, but it does do a really good job of like containing the oils in my face. So going back over with that probably really helped. And it looks really good on my chin actually, and over my nose and the sides of my nose. So this might be one of those foundations that like as it wears, it starts to look better. Does that make sense? Like I have some foundations like that I feel like when I initially lay them down, they don't look amazing, but they kind of like settle into the skin and start to look better as the day goes on. Does that make any sense at all? Anyways, I like it. I'm gonna keep using it. I will let you guys know if any of my thoughts change about this foundation, but as of right now, I would say that this is very much approved. So anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video. If you liked it, it helps me out a lot. with the algorithm. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. Bye. So we're going to take a look at a couple different ways oh my God. Jesus.